We have an interesting story for you, just an interesting story, but also the way the media covered it is also very interesting. So let's actually put the third element here up on the screen first, guys.
E3.
So I got all these alerts, Saagar news alerts yesterday, saying that Iran was shutting down their morality police. It was being disbanded. And the headlines were incredibly unequivocal. So we have a few of them up on the screen. We say, one says Iran has abolished the morality police. An official suggests in the New York Times. Fox News says Iran shuts down morality police in response to protests, report. Iran shutting down morality police. So the way the headlines made it sound very clear. And in fact, put the second element now up on the screen. This is from Yashar Ali, who the first headline from the New York Times was even more unequivocal. It says, Iran abolishes morality police after months of reports. Doesn't say an official said they did that. They might have done it. They could potentially be doing none of that. Just totally unequivocal. They are abolishing the morality police. And clearly, I mean, this is a huge story. We have covered here incredible protests across the country, you know, really persistent, massive crackdown with protesters being killed. All of this happening within Iran. So this shows that, you know, oh, wow, they're getting some traction. The government is being forced to respond. And I still think that the kernel of that is likely true. But the way this was covered was incredibly irresponsible. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. So you have a journalist here who is saying, here's a thread about responsible journalism, which is based on responsible sourcing. The comments on the alleged abolishment of the morality police stem from the Iranian regime's attorney general, Mohammad Jafar Montazeri. Let's break down what he actually said in official Iranian state media. And I'm going to go ahead and read this whole thread that she ultimately put out. So this official said the following: the morality police has nothing to do with the judiciary system, the same source that created it in the past from the same place it has shut down. Of course, the judiciary system will continue its surveillance of social behaviors across society. So even the official who's saying, oh, we're getting rid of the morality police is saying, we're still going to enforce the law. Nothing is really going to change. We're just basically changing the name of it and the way that the enforcement happens. Then she links to a source here from BBC Persian. Then she says, given the above, we know Montazeri is not in charge, by the way, of the regime's morality police. Montazeri does not specify who allegedly shut down the morality police and when and how. Montazeri promises to continue enforcement of the country's Islamic Sharia laws. Editorially, it is not clear why New York Times and other media outlets have chosen to draw definitive conclusions from Montazeri's words, who admits he's not in a position to do so, characterize it as a victory for feminists when Montazeri says social surveillance would continue. In conclusion, it is lazy journalism at best and camouflaged lobbying at worst. So, you know, New York Times in particular, but a bunch of outlets declaring as fact that the morality police has been abolished, showing that, you know, the government is under pressure, that they're caving to demands, that this is a clear victory for the feminists who've been protesting in Iran, when the reality is much more opaque and much less clear.
Well, here's even better. So last night, that same attorney general whose comments they ran, he says, quote, no official authority in the Islamic Republic has confirmed the closure of the morality police. So look, I wish it were true. You know, I see stuff like this all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good example of how the Western media gets totally played by a lot of these. Right now, there's a lot of stories like China possibly loosening COVID-0. We'll see. All right, maybe. Or maybe they're leaking it to get the Western press off their backs and portray it as some sort of victory, and then they come in and sweep in whenever that media doesn't pay attention as much anymore. Ever seen that happen in China? I certainly have with the Hong Kong protests. And now here, I think, is the exact same thing. Whenever, look, if it's actually true, we will find out. Will the hijab laws in Iran actually be enforced, or will they be changed? Again, we will see. And then will they be changed on paper and then enforced differently in the streets? Again, we will see. To go ahead and to report this as statement as total fact without any of the context of how the Iranian regime itself works, who this person is, the fact is BBC Persia seems to be the only outlet that actually nailed this from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
In the West, they failed.
Now,
totally.
after pushback, I have seen outlets, like I was reading an Economist story this morning that provided more of the context and more of the nuance, more of the uncertainty about what this actually means and whether it's real or not. Because clearly the initial, like, it's done, congratulations, way to go, guys, was met with massive pushback from this journalist and from, I'm sure, others, including Iranian protesters who are there on the ground. One thing we do know, according to the protesters, is that the morality police have been much less visible and present over the past few weeks. I think it is safe to say, based on them even claiming that they're going to get rid of the morality police, that they are, I mean, they're definitely feeling pressure. There's no doubt about that. But whether this amounts to any sort of a substantive victory is highly in doubt at best. And again, this official, by his own words, I mean, they're not planning on getting rid of the hijab law. They're not even claiming that that's what they're doing. They're just saying we're going to still enforce it, but through a different mechanism ultimately. So even in the best case scenario of they are actually getting rid of the morality police, they're just saying, we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do it in a little bit of a different way and try to claim this as, oh, congratulations, you won, when it's not, in fact, a substantive victory.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.